My understanding of the term post-abortion depression is basically a girl has had an abortion and now she's regretting it, she's not feeling so good about it, she made a bad decision and she's depressed basically.
And I to keep and then it's like the depression that she goes through. So it's always abortion, then maybe stress, as is down and
I'm feeling guilt now after abortion, feeling as they've made the wrong decision.
It's the person who just terminated the baby and is going through depression after terminating the baby.
The depression that one goes to after doing abortion.
Dumelang re la amogela le lebeletse Daily Thetha gona mo gae mo SABC 1 #BeingYouWith1 nakalina ke Tumelo Mothotoane. It's always a pleasure to be with you every Monday to Thursday at 11 a.m. gona mo gae mo SABC 1, and you know we are the youth and we're taking charge. We're taking charge of our health as young people, and so we're taking, of course, a closer look and focus on what has been happening in society among especially young women. They're going through a lot of, post-abortion depression. Something that's not really spoken about. So we are taking a stance is beyond being judgmental, whether it's wrong or right. Fact is, it is happening. And the question we're asking, what are you doing about it afterwards? Do you get post or pre, counseling after, the whole ordeal? Or is it something we keep out to yourself? And I'm talking about your best friend or two.
Kini Shandu sinimukele kwi Daily Thetha on SABC 1 #BeingYouWith1 njengoba uTume seshile namhlanje siluka post-abortion depression ukuthi isifo sakho nama signs akhona abanjani. Abantu abaningi after abortion basithola sebesenkingeni, as you know ukuthi abantu besifazane kakhulukazi leningi Africa 3,300 of them per day basithola bephoqelekile ukuthi benze abortion, and 65% of them basithola sebe depressed after that. And abanye babo baze bacabanga nanokucommit suicide ngenxa ukuthi bayasaba, they keep it a secret. When I found out ukuthi more about this post-depression sazi ukuthi ucabanga ngani post-abortion depression ukuthi ucabanga ngayo as nanokuthi if you are one of those people abadila the situation enjengaleyo at home, give us a call on 011-339-1315 or find us on Facebook daily_Thetha or on Twitter @daily_Thetha. Sinubuza ukuthi uthini umbono wakho about today's topic.
Well, Kini, those statistics are very scary. I mean, I can only imagine with the stigma attached to decisions deciding as a woman when you terminate your pregnancy. I can only imagine what state of mind that a young person is going through. But we are, of course, talking about this very sensitive issue. It's post-abortion depression. What happens, or what at least needs to happen after the ordeal has happened. But we also have studio audience members. They're going to share in their opinions. Some are going to share in their experiences. As Kini has mentioned, feel free to call us in or even comment on social media or about what you think about post-abortion depression, what you think the meaning is, or what you think needs to be done. Suffer from post-abortion depression. So let's talk to our studio audience members. We have a lady who's holding mic more. What's your name, my lady, and what's your story?
Sanbonani, Kamala Muntom Gaisawa Khatebe. So I'd like to take it back. Abortion. Pregnancy comes in many forms of ways. It can be rape, you can name them. It can be statutory rape. You can name them. So basically what I'm trying to say is pregnancy comes in many forms. And then when gune abortion, emotions are involved. You understand? So many young women take decisions over emotions. And can you imagine if you're pregnant during rape? It's a situation. And then if you're thinking of abortion, it's another situation on top of a situation. So others, they can't deal with it because they feel like they're afraid. They feel like they're too shameful. I'm being raped and I'm carrying a child that I don't even know who the father is.
And why do you think, Jorge, is there so much stigma attached to a woman making a decision? Why do you think society still judges women? Whether, it came from, unwanted pregnancy, whether it came through statutory rape, as you mentioned. A woman adjust that decision. Why does society judge and forbid it, do you think?
Sometimes you need support from home. Sometimes you look into a situation and when you don't find support at home, in the people that are close to you, then obviously outside, what are people gonna think? They're gonna think, they're gonna obviously judge you. So the more support you get from the people that are close to you, the better.
All right.
Okay. Sayuzakholisa wami uthi support yonto ebalekile kakhulukazi especially ekhaya nanokuthi abantu osuku nabo nje as well when you're going through that phase. My sister, ubani igama lakho and ithini comment yakho about today's topic? Quick
Okay,
one.
mina ngufanele ne.
Yes.
So I know people that are close to me
Yeah.
that have done abortion.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is, because they don't show any symptoms or any signs of depression, what I want to know is it everyone who does abortion who has depression? Because I don't see anything wrong with them, and I think it's not everyone that goes through that thing. You would see they feel bad or they
Alright.
feel guilty or whatsoever.
Okay, that's an
Yes.
interesting question, and I think we need to start, of course, with that particular question. Well, on the couch right now, we're joined by Ms. Hayla Chapman, Olungor Ujo from Pregnancy Crisis Center in Pretoria. Thank you so much for your time. Morning to you. Let's start with that question. What are the symptoms of, a young woman who's suffering from post-abortion depression, especially if they don't even show any physical or emotional signs?
Yeah.
Very often it can happen that when a woman has gone through the procedure, it is like she builds a wall of denial around her, and it's over and done with. I don't need to think about it anymore. But somewhere deep inside of a woman, there is something that says, here's a pain. I don't know how to deal with this pain. And because it's in a secret situation, that is why this woman really starts to numb that feeling. And at a stage, this thing comes up. Because depression has also got a lot of emotions involved with it. And sometimes she will react on one certain thing and the other thing, and her friends won't even think it's funny. But deep inside of her, there are some questions, and unless she starts to deal with the loss that she has had, this depression will start to become bigger for her.
Hayla, you deal with so many women who have a depression, after abortion. What is a common reason they give for their reason to decide abortion?
You know what, we work with a lot of students. We are from Pretoria, so we are in contact with all the universities and the colleges and things. And so many of them, sometimes the girls come from the countryside, and they come into this big town of Pretoria or Johannesburg, and they are free. There's no mommy that's looking at them and saying, you're not allowed to do that. And so we have got people who really look out for these girls, and like this lady said, the rape is coming up there because they are just focusing on the new girls that's coming. So now when the new girl is in Pretoria, she comes with a thing, suddenly I'm pregnant, but I've got a mom that maybe has got 2 jobs to keep me there. The whole community has sent me. Everybody's looking to me. I am the top girl. And now suddenly I am here. So the reasons they very often give us is that, what about the people in my village? How will they react to that? The other thing is that they sometimes have bursaries, and one of the conditions of a bursary is you may not be, you're not allowed to be pregnant. So they really sit with all these things. And the other thing is that a guy comes and he makes a baby, and then after she tells him there's a baby, he says, cheers, my girl, I'm looking for somebody else. I'm not walking around with somebody who's got a tummy. And she said she's really abandoned in this whole situation because no support, because she thought he would be there for her, and he's not.
But Hayla, just going back to our studio audience members' question again, for someone who doesn't understand what post-abortion depression is, perhaps they're going through it and they're not even aware, how would you define it briefly, please?
Post-abortion stress is a situation where a woman doesn't really have the ability, or she doesn't think that she can work with the losses that she has received. Because the choice that she has made was legal. And now she doesn't understand why there are so many emotions emerging in her life. And that is the big thing. She sits and she's devastated by the anger that comes, or the sadness that comes into her life. She doesn't know why she's fighting with her best friend, why she's fighting with her mom, why the boyfriend, he is the brunt of the whole thing. And she doesn't understand it. And then eventually she's angry with herself. Why am I such a rude girl? I've never been like that to my parents. So there are certain symptoms that we can pick up from a girl like that, you know, that has gone through the situation.
Sabugeli Daily Thetha on SABC1 hashtag Be New with One is talking about post-abortion depression, and yonke sikhuluma nama signs akhona as well. If mhlawumbe ekhaya ungomunye wabantu that goes through that, give us a call on 011-339-1315 or find us on Facebook daily_Thetha na Twitter @daily_Thetha. I see there's someone from say Avile Hlakuva uthi women who aborted are more often condemned, stigmatized and crucified than being psychologically rejuvenated. That's from Ose Avile. Comment yaka as well. Now a comment at home. After this, we'll be finding out more about the post-abortion depression. That's what we're talking about on Daily Thetha.
I think it's caused by the fact that maybe you are not really ready for against abortion and you didn't have more information. So what decided to keep you ceasing over at that time, it seemed like the right thing.
I think it's the fact that you think they'll perceive you in the wrong way if you did abortion, and since it's against our norms, our beliefs, so you obviously feel like you did the wrong decision, and also religiously people believe it's not right to go to bulale. So I think it's kanjani.
Basically, as people's talks, you know how there are ethics about how wrong abortion is, and obviously there's guilt too.
Some people, it's because they just cannot afford the baby financially, so they had to terminate it. Now it's haunting them and it causes them depression.
If you've done abortion for the wrong reasons, then definitely gonna go into depression.
Basically, your regret. You feel guilty, you're regretting the decision that you made, you're not happy with it, and it's only hitting you now that you've made a bad decision and you're regretting it. Basically, yeah, it's about regrets. That's what causes it.
Well, look at the opinions about when it comes to post-abortion depression. What are some of the reasons, some of the causes, and what young women specifically, are going through? And I think, Ranchi, when we talk about post-abortion depression or even the topic of abortion, usually refer to young women. But what's the role of the young men? They are just as involved as well. Do they also suffer from the same form of stress and depression? Do they even care, or is it something usually the spotlight imomusading? Well, Lokhonde, of course, we're finding out that and more, and make sure you do call us live in studio on 011-339-1315 or share some of his stories, even if it's a personal testimony or a comment or an opinion on today's topic.
Job essentially utume as well, but we need to get a doctor's perspective down with what is it ngempela when you're talking about post-abortion depression. We're going to be having Dr. Thandiwe Nhlapo and Tlaleng Mofugeni with Daily Thetha on SABC1. But right now, let's go straight to our calls. We have Anonymous from KZN. Anonymous.
Yeah,
Kunjani sis?
Yeah,
Sikhona sis. Sifuna ukuza i-comment yakho or a question about today's topic.
Ngifuna ukumtshela ukuthi ziningi kakhulu izinto ezenzayo ukuthi umuntu azayenze i-abortion. Angicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe kusuke nje uvuke ekuseni ngicabanga ukuthi mina ngihambe ukwenza i-abortion. Mina ngumama manje na-53 ngayenza ngabo-1996. Ngoba ngathola ukuthi ngi-HIV positive. So ngatshelwa ukuthi either ngiyenza i-abortion noma inganyani izobala i-HIV positive. So kwakuthini ukuthi ngiyakhetha ukuthi kufanele ngiyenze kanjani. So ngadecide ngibona nabanye abazali beney'nkinga zey'ngane zingekho iphilisi. So ngaleyo ndlela ngadecide ukuthi okay ngayenze i-abortion. Namanje kona kuyangihlupha kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe ngiyenza into e-right ngoba angazi ukuthi ngangakhona kanjani ukuthi ngibe ney'ngane egulayo engingazi ukuthi ngizoyilapha kanjani impilo yami yonke.
Kuhambe kufikeni ukuthi uyisole about the decision owayithathayo ngaleso sikhathi?
Ngiyaqala ukukhuluma ngale nto namhlanje eminyakeni engamashumi adlula qala ukukhuluma ngayo kodwa nje ngicabanga ukuthi ku-right ngingazike phela noma mhlawumbe ngoba nami ngiyahluleka ukuthi ngiconcentrate mhlawumbe ngicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe yona i-depression angazi kodwa nje kuyangifikela kodwa into engicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe kungcono ngoba ngibona abanye abantu abazali abanye bakhulele iy'ngane besazi isimo sabo. Uthola ukuthi umuntu usenengane isiyagula akwazi ukwenza lutho ube azi olaleyo ukuthi inkinga yakhe ikuphi. ukuthi mhlawumbe kuwavele wasemedi ngoba kahle kahle ngokwazi ukuthi sengene ukuthi angavota nangindlela engizibuza ngayo.
Okay, siyabonga kakhulu mama ngocingo lakho, and make sure ukuthi ubukele ishow njengamanje, so share na numbers zasaga so that if you want more information uzokwazi ukuthi ukhulume nabo, if you feel like ukuthi uengage nabo mhlawumbe uyasaba ukukhuluma nabantu onabo lapho ukuthi bazokujaja bona, would give them numbers zakhona kwi screen site ukwazi ukuthi ukhulume and usizakale going forward. Sibuyele back to the doctors. Asiqale kwena Dr. Thandiwe, I want to find out ukuthi what is, because now we see khuluma ngesilungu for omunye umuntu, I want to find out what is a post abortion depression.
Masibheka i-post abortion depression, faneke siyibone as a loss, whereby whether it was illegal or legal or voluntary or you were influenced, but it's a loss. And what must happen with a loss? You must grieve a loss. And with grieving, there must be a process whereby you mourn. And unfortunately now, there's a psychological price and there's an emotional injury, whereby lento yenzakala in a secret space, whereby akubi is secret to the people who are around you, but iba is secret naguwe as well, to say you want to disassociate yourself with what has happened. And then masibheka ukuthi mhlambe nabantu abayaziyo le ndaba bayifyo, it can be your partner, the doctor was going to be involved, and then kube a procedure whereby it is done, and then when it is done, you must shut the door and then nihambe and forget about it. And mina ngiyikhoina as just a death system, whereby you are not given a chance to have a funeral. There's no coffin. There are no designated mourners. You are just alone. You are on your own. And it's something that iba yi lifetime to some of the people, and abanye gube I long term, because aguna I exact closure of what has happened, and what has happened, it's a trauma indeed. It's huge. It's a loss, and it's a part of you, because masingayibheka kahle immediately the ovum, it's fertilized by a spermatozoid. Then sekukhona ama characteristics wonke where a complete human being who is inside of you. So there's bonding, there's attachment as well. So now abortion now, which means you deliver only embryo. Whereby if there was no...
Yes. No, I was just saying that as you're talking, I hear more of the physical attributes that also happen in your body, you know, that also interlink the emotional, which also brings me to yourself, Dr. Tlalengore. As a medical doctor, what happens to you physically as you go through, you know, the abortion or even through the termination? Who can perform it legally?
Okay, so this year it's 20 years since the Choice of Termination of Pregnancy Act was passed in South Africa, which means that act and that law gives very specific details on who can perform a termination, what type of patient or person can request it, and I suppose the conditions which that person can request a termination. So up to 12 weeks, any person who finds themselves pregnant, for whatever reason, they can request a termination. And that act is the guiding legal document. But as someone who's a doctor, who's a clinician, who sees patients every day, there is more to it than just a legal document. And how we treat women with compassion is very important. And I think the way that the discussion has been framed, it's as if abortion is inherently traumatic, which is not true. It's not, you know, just by having a termination, by default, it doesn't mean that you're going to have trauma, you're going to have loss, you're going to grieve, you're going to have lifelong psychological trauma that happens to you. Many women actually have a sense of relief because, as we know, the lady said earlier on, a lot of people are raped, there's a lot of incest. Some people had jobs and they find themselves retrenched and they economically, financially cannot afford to have a child. Some people have birth defects or, you know, genetical, I suppose, malformations, where medically there is a reason. Even a gynecologist can even sometimes advise you that, look, the way things look, you know, a termination may very well be necessary. And
sorry, but I was gonna go into that. That can a doctor or a nurse say no? I'm not gonna accept if you say I want to do an abortion. Can doctor or a nurse say no?
That's a form of disobedience because you take an oath, first of all, as a doctor to say you are going to treat your patients with dignity, with respect, you're not going to do no harm, and you are actually going to do your duty of care. The other thing is that the Choice of Termination of Pregnancy Act gives you details of if this facility can help a person, where must that person be referred to? Whose responsibility is it to make sure that this person, if I can help them, I need to make sure that I refer them to a facility that I know can assist them, and you have to take that responsibility to make sure that person get a service. And I think the issue is that if you look at the system problems, there aren't enough physical facilities where people can go when they're pregnant. So a lot of the times, they've made a decision that I want to terminate, but they get delayed because they actually have nowhere that's safe for them to go.
Okay.
Clinics are far, especially in the rural areas. Where do people go? So there's a lot of other trauma and other stresses that are already on a woman who's made the decision. And it's not correct to then say by default, abortion itself is traumatic. There are lots of other psychosocial, and even before, I mean, when you see a patient who's coming for termination, you don't know their history before. Are there someone who was already diagnosed with major depression? Is it someone who already has some underlying medical issues or other underlying socioeconomic issues that are making them vulnerable?
All right. Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you, Dr. Thandi, about what you think about, Dr. Tlaleng's comment about that it's not by default that one will be depressed, because I think you share different sentiments around that there's a mourning process that actually happens. But after the break, of course, you will answer that question. Right now, let's go for a quick break. And when we come back right here on Daily Thetha, we'll continue with our conversation.
Sabukeli Daily Thetha on SABC 1 hashtag be new with one isikhuluma nobuhlungu nobukhontalala olubana abantu besifazana mabekade beqeda ukuba ne-abortion abasala bebe nanokuthi why begcine bengakhuluma about these things besithola sebeyibhoklisha all this thing inside nanokuthi society yona iphila kanjani nanokuthi how can you help umuntu kanjalo going forward i-support ibaluleke kangakanani kubantu abaclose kuyena. Give us a call on 011-339-1315 or find us on Facebook daily_Thetha or on Twitter @daily_Thetha. I believe we have Thandi from Eastern Cape. Molo Thandi. Thandi.
Hello.
Molo sisi.
Molo kuthini?
Akhona njani wena?
Ikhona.
Thetha nathi sikumamele ma.
Okay. I-abortion ndiyenze last year Thandi is not my name. It's just a name engimsinga ngoko. Ndiyenze last year because umfana lo bensidibana naye apha eJoburg ngiqala ukufika. Ovele waphika wathi yena akafuna umntwana and that akamnikisanga. Yabona? So I had to do i-abortion ngongolo hlobo.
And
so emva kwexesha ke ngoku umfana lona wafika wathi ufuna umntwana wakhe yena.
How?
So never understand uba kanjani because bekhe akamnikisanga. Yabona?
Yeah.
So lonke ke ngoku ndiyathanda ukundenza like ndifikise guilty nam because i-abortion bendingabhilivi kuyo. Umuntu osithi abortion bendimdrang ngendlela. So i-depression leyo yam ke sometimes angise indodwa ne ingase mhlawumbe ndingafilisa iphini okanye mhlawumbe ndibone igazi should ngihlale ndodwa and ndicinge le nto. Sometimes if ndibona ispray okanye iblade apha endlini ndiyisebenzise just to hurt myself yabona okanye mhlawumbe isingibekise ebondeni just feel the pain yabona. But i-depression leyo usister wami she took me to something nencedakala ndi-healing process now. So uzowenza njani going forward? Are you planning to see mhlawumbe umuntu ongakusiza ukuthi deal with this or ucabanga ukuthi uzodeal nayo on your own? Usham uyandibanisa nabantu ne-psychologist. Ngene nayo izolo and ngizaphinda ngiyodibana nayo next week. Yeah. Okay, no siyakuzwa kakhulu sisi. Bukela nje TV sizoshiya ama numbers angakusiza going forward if ufuna ukube nabantu ozokhuluma nayo sezwana. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sis Thandi. And let's come back to you, Dr. Thandi. When you hear a case study like this of a woman who's been through this situation, what comes to mind? What help can she get?
Basically, the support will be necessary, and the psychological interventions they will be necessary as well. and the assessment and evaluation to determine the extent of the trauma and the deepness of the bereavement that has taken place. And bearing in mind that it's not a one-size-fits-all. People, they differ from their perceptives. How do they see things? How do the things happen to them?
Interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. Tendi.
About comment yako. And right now, we are joined by Faith Kunta, a social consultant social worker. And I just want to find out from you, Faith, with but not bonku muntu obane abortion, obane depression. How true is that?
I mean, definitely. I mean, it's exactly what she's just echoed now. There's no one size fits all. For some people, indeed, it is a relief because of the psychosocial situation about Tolaguyo and also the, socio-economical issues. I mean, as a social worker, you'd understand that we have a lot of people, and especially in South Africa, who are depending so much on the grants, who are depending on their, grandparents and pensioners' grants and other forms of, limited income. And to some families, there's actually no income at all. So if you look at those dynamics, and also students, as the doctor has mentioned, that sometimes you're dealing with students who've got an array of issues that they have to think about. If I continue having this baby, it means my family will not be able to step out of poverty. So there are a lot of, psychosocial issues coupled with socioeconomic issues that we do really need to consider. So,
and it's usually the women, the spotlight is on them. Where are the men? Because as we heard from Usis Tandi mentioned, here comes men that I meet in Johannesburg, we fall pregnant, I take a decision to terminate. What's the role of the man in this whole situation that the woman is going through?
I mean, definitely. What you're saying is very true. Abortion really tends to be genderized, to say, it's a woman issue. But essentially, if we have to think about it, before we even talk about post-abortion, there's actually what I refer to as pre-anxiety or stressing, depression. Before the lady or the woman, the pregnant woman, would have to tell the guy that, look, I'm pregnant. She's obviously having anxieties of her own. Will he accept it? Will he reject it? It was a one-night stand. It was just at a party. It was a fling. Yes, we've been, together for 4 years, but it's not, I'm not really sure if he'll take it. So the same anxieties that a woman will have pre the decision would be obviously, as the caller has mentioned, typically the guy would also experience the same, to say, do I really want this baby? What will utamkhulu ekhaya say because I'm being raised by my grandparents? Because so those are the kind of dynamics, unfortunately, that we are presented in our country, to say before there's the post, there's actually the pre, and we often genderize it, but men as well equally go through the same. But you find that later on, as the caller has said, he now realized, oh my goodness, the decision I've made, I told her to go and abort, but now I'm thinking my child could have been 4 years old, and he's looking at the other. So those dynamics are real, and they're really happening in our country today.
Let me come to you, Dr. Klaling. Still on that one, I want to find out, can a man have the right to go to an no, you cannot do an abortion, where I date to me and 2 years pregnant, and then no, you can't. I feel that way. I feel like I have to do abortion. Can a man have a say in abortion?
The decision to have a termination lies with the person who's pregnant. And that's the beginning and end of it. And I think, as a society, women get blamed and judged for everything. Whether you are a young woman in tertiary or high school wanting contraceptives, you get judged for wanting contraceptives. You get judged for falling pregnant.
You get judged when
you get judged when the contraceptive doesn't work. You get judged when you find yourself in a situation where you require a termination. You get judged for having it. You then get judged for not feeling loss and grief and not playing into this scripted version of women who are powerless victims and who are perpetually going through trauma and life and decisions that they can't handle in life. And I think that scripted thing, you see it even when patients come in, they almost feel like they need to act a certain way so that the health workers can see that they deserve compassion, they deserve their abortion because, oh my gosh, I'm so torn and I'm, and that's the danger, is that we're playing women against themselves and we further traumatize traumatize them by expecting a certain type of woman to then emerge after a process. And I think if you look at how the different options for termination, you asked that later, there's the medical procedure and there's the surgical procedure. And all that really means is the method. So with medical, there's tablets that you take and you will then resume a menstruation type of bleed, right? And the termination will happen. And the surgical means sometimes some people may opt to have some form of vacuum suction that can happen. And that's all that really means. There isn't this huge surgical procedure with, you know, so dramatized, even the way that it's reported in the media most of the time. And I think that's some of the danger that we need to, I suppose, look for. Let's not over-script, let's not over-prescribe how people must feel or deal with what's going on, and maybe make them feel that they need to act a certain way so that we can feel that they deserve to get safe procedures.
Interesting. Well, Arjing, another caller on the line from Johannesburg, Anonymous. Rao Amagala mo Daily Thetha.
Hi, thank you.
Yes, talk to us.
Yes, I personally, 3 years back, my boyfriend at the time when I told him that I was pregnant, he wasn't ready. He told me that he wasn't ready for a baby, so he opted that I do an abortion. And I also wasn't ready because now I was still studying, and my parents are they're priests. My dad is a priest, and now like there was a lot expected from me. So pregnancy was the last thing my parents expected from me.
And then how have you dealt with it so far?
I didn't know what to do. And then I decided, I thought that was the right thing at the time. So now I look back 3 years back, and not even a single day goes by without me even thinking about it. And now I am married, I'm struggling to get pregnant, and it's devastating. So now what happened was that after I got married, my husband and I struggled to
conceive,
to get pregnant. And then we went to seek for medical help. And then I was told that I've got blocked fallopian tube. So those are the things that we miss. Those are the things that I think we should actually, those kind of things should be explained to us. That if you do this, these are the consequences.
So and have you sought help? Have you sought help because have you sought help for what you're going through, because your tears and your emotion and your tone tells me that you're reliving that moment as you're talking to us, the pain, the emotions you went through, you're reliving. Have you sought help?
No, I haven't, because no one knows. No one knows about it, and like I'm saying, not a single day goes by without me thinking about what I did. And I beat myself up, I feel guilty and all of that. So it's really terrible, and it's affecting my marriage with my husband, because he also doesn't know that that's what I did.
Well, we have Faith here, our social worker. Let's just ask Faith, do you have a question or any questions you would like to ask her right now? Just this opportunity to interact with her.
Yes, definitely. And thank you, Sissy, for sharing your story. It obviously, you had to really take time to call us. You know, and because you're coming from a church and you're saying your father is a pastor, you know, did you find yourself having to always, you know, camouflage and be this perfect girl? How did you really, you know, go through those expectations?
3 years.
Yes, 3 years, you know, from your parents, you know, having these high expectations from you. How are you dealing with that?
I'm not taking it so well. I'm really not, because my parents don't know, and they're so proud of their daughter being 27, not having a baby. And honestly, to me, like, I cannot even confront them. I cannot tell them what I did, because I'm put in a pedestal like our precious daughter, and I look at a child who is 17, 18, pregnant, and they were brave enough to carry the baby, and I wasn't, because of my parents. I did it because of my parents, just to cover up for them, because I didn't, in a way. You understand?
All right,
but
sis.
it beats me up every day.
Well, Sissy, I would advise you to get help. The SADC numbers that we have, of course, we'll be stripping them down on the TV line. I urge you, because you cannot move forward in your marriage, you know, and I believe you will have kids. I will believe you have children in this marriage. But you need to heal for yourself, for your husband, for your future family, and also the shame that we attach to this. The shame, the pressure that comes with being, you know, a pastor's child, being a member of society, being, you know, a top achiever, or being, you know, somebody that's achieved at work. You need to strip down that shame so you can move forward. So please, please, please find time to call, okay?
It's really sad. Hello?
Hello? Find time to call
Yes.
SADC, okay? We'll put the numbers down on the screens for you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Sisi, for your call and sharing and helping other young
Bye.
women who are dealing with this. All right, on that note, let's go take a breather and take a short break. When we come back, of course, we're still talking about post-abortion depression affecting so many young women in South Africa. It's a silent killer that needs to be spoken about. We'll be right back.
How I would advise someone who's going through it is basically there are people that you can speak to. You've got your social workers, you've got your elders in the community, you've got people around you, people at church that you can talk to about it. It's always good to talk to someone about things like this.
They should go for counseling and get emotional support and accept to the decision. And yeah,
It's a hard dilemma that a person needs to take into consideration before even doing the abortion. So it's better to talk to someone about it, someone with previous experience about it, so that they can tell you how they handled the situation.
Well, I would advise them to get help, counseling somehow, because depression somehow is dangerous, can lead to, you know, this depression. Some could go crazy.
Amogela back mo Daily Thetha gona mo SABC 1 le gonne le re about taba ya post-abortion depression. We're putting the spotlight on a silent killer e leng gore clearly re bona a lot of women ba leng gore ba phone. They haven't told their parents, they haven't told, you know, their friends. They're afraid of being judged for decisions tsa bona, because at the time ba feature gore it's something e leng gore was going to definitely benefit them. But with long-term, of course, consequences tse di tlang go nagana ka taba e leng gore ne you affect her 3 years ago. Of course, ra bona, you know, just stress coming out, just, you know, emotions being reflected. But fela we have our doctors and experts in studio assisting us, of course, to better understand post-abortion depression. Marnale, another caller on the line. Ke kusha gore ke anonymous. Ra amogela.
Hi, Thetha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm well, thanks. Please talk to us.
Sissy, Mzansi town. I had an abortion. I was 27 years then. It was in 2007, 2008. And I was married. I'm still married to the same guy. I'm still married.
Yes.
The thing is, we had 2 kids then. Now we are blessed with a 3rd one. The thing is why we decided then, because we both decided, myself and my husband, we both decided to have an abortion then. Because the reason was my mother-in-law was very, very ill. She had cancer. So there was no one else to look after her besides me, because my husband is also working. So I was a homestay mom. So we decided, no, let's get rid of it so that there can be someone at home that can look after my mother-in-law.
And I think it's been 10 years now, because you're saying you had the abortion, got 2007. Have you thought about it? Have you regretted it? Have you experienced any stress?
Both of us, my husband and I, we don't regret it, because we did it for a good cause. That's the thing. Because if you think about it now, who was going to look after her then? Because she was very, very ill. She was very ill. Who was going to look after her then? No one else could have looked after her besides me. So I don't regret it. My husband doesn't regret it, because after then, God blessed us with another daughter.
All right, sis. Well, congratulations on your 3-year-old. Thank you so much for your call. Thank you so much for calling, sis. Thank you for sharing your story. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Sabwele Daily Thetha on SABC 1. Sama khulu with the call yakho. Now ngasifona as well on 011-339-1315. Sikhuluma about stress asiba khona kubantu besifazane kakhulukazi after abortion. And how do they deal with it? On the line we do have Dr. Claire Hoffman from Doctors for Life. Claire, welcome to Daily Thetha on SABC 1.
Thank you.
Good. A quick one. Let me just dive into it. What's your view on abortion and in SA as a doctor? What's your take on the abortion? Let's begin now.
Okay. My feeling about abortion, my belief about abortion is that the reason abortion is so traumatic is because it involves two people, the mother and the unborn child, and as you say, possibly a third, the father. So what I feel about abortion is that it's a tragedy, and that it often deeply affects the woman and sometimes other people.
I see. And when it comes to abortion, because most people find themselves depressed after abortion, what can be done? Should this be a decision between the mother and herself, or the father should be involved in this as well?
Well, obviously what we want to do is to reach anybody who is hurting. So what is required, I think we all agree, is for the mother to receive appropriate, compassionate counseling. And then if others are involved, also hurt, then we would also like to reach out to them as well.
And let's look at the options now. Let's say the woman has already lost the child and that depression that she's going through. What are other available options that you can assist her?
What we offer is, and I work in the government service, but I also work as a volunteer through a church-linked group. So we offer counseling. We offer a prayer ministry so that we try and get people to communicate with God, so that because the love of God is what heals. And all this is done either by myself or by psychologists, social workers, caring people in crisis centers. So there are all these options available to people. And, you know, if people are struggling, we really would ask that they come forward and try and access services where they can be helped.
Because of time, thank you very much, Dr. Claire, and we'd like to talk more with you, but because of time, we have to go straight to the break. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Sabukela iThetha on SABC 1 sikhuluma about ukhwantalala lephatha abantu besifazane kakhulukazi after sebebe ne-abortion lana ukuthi how do you deal with that, and of course before siqede nje uhlelo sokunikeza futhi ama-numbers la uzokwazi ukuthi ufone khona if unenkinga or ufuna umuntu ozokhuluma naye esimene sinjengaleso. This is iThetha on SABC 1 #BeYouWith1. Sabukela iThetha on SABC 1 #BeYouWith1. Sifonele ku 011-339-1315 siza ukuthi umbono wakho uthina about today's show and njengoba ikhona nje noNhlanhla in Johannesburg. Nhlanhla, welcome to iThetha on SABC 1.
Yeah, hello.
Kunjani Nhlanhla?
Ngiyaphila. Thank you so much for tackling this topic today because it's so close to home.
What's your comment?
Okay. I had an abortion last year when I was 19. When I told my boyfriend about it, we had been dating for a year. I told him that I'm pregnant, and he immediately decided that he was not ready to have a child. So at that time, there were so many things happening in my life, and I was so scared of having the child because I don't have parents, neither does he, and I know the pressure and stress that comes with being a single mother. So I took that decision based on my emotions at the time.
Do you regret that decision?
Yes, I do very much regret it because it has changed me. I'm suicidal. I have bruises all over my body because I self-harm. And what's worse is I couldn't talk about it to anyone. I tried going for counseling, but I felt judged by the nurse that was counseling me because she was Christian. She was telling me about the Bible and everything. And whenever I tried to talk to my boyfriend about it, he never wanted to talk about it. So I started being angry at him because he never showed his emotions. As a guy, guys don't talk about such things. So I started seeing him as an enemy. I started hurting him physically. I'd make up things just to fight with him when the real issue was that he talked me into having an abortion because when you fall pregnant, when you're in a relationship, you don't think that the person that you're in love with is going to tell you, no, let's abort this baby. So it has become something that controls my life because I can't move on from it. He doesn't even want me anymore because of the person that I've become. I accuse him of cheating, even though I know that he's not, but because the real thing that's been stressing me is having an abortion. And it's true that not everyone goes through post-abortion depression, because my sister also had an abortion. She now has a second child after she had the abortion, but she was okay with it because it doesn't really bother her. So I never actually knew that there was actually something called post-abortion depression. I thought I was going crazy because I felt like no one understood.
So at some point, Faith, you're going to come in. At some point, I'll feel the pressure of having another baby just to make it up?
No, I don't. I'm actually even scared. The thought of having to bear a child inside of my tummy. Sometimes I feel like, what if I can't even have kids anymore because of what I went through? I even want to donate my eggs because I feel like I'm not ready of having a child. Because I killed an innocent soul.
Okay, Faith, what would you say to a situation if finally?
Yeah, sure. I mean, definitely our caller is obviously presenting with, signs of bereavement. So essentially, she sounds like she's, going to a depressive state. She also spoke about anger. There's also denial in the process. There's bargaining where you say to God, bring my baby back, I'll be a better person. Bring my boyfriend back and we'll fix things. And eventually then they get into a stage of what we call acceptance. So essentially, just to make you aware, Sissy, that you will be going through these stages from time to time. At some point you might be in denial, at some point you might be depressed, at some point you might bargain. Then eventually as time goes, you might find, obviously with healing and therapy, and obviously getting the relevant help that you need, you might get into a stage of acceptance. So you're never fully out of these stages, so-called of bereavement. So what you find is the more you are accepting, you are sort of moving away from the depressive or the anger stage. So just seek help, get counseling. That would be my best recommendation. Change your counselor, find someone who's neutral, who's not a Christian, perhaps.
And literally in one liner, your last words, please.
I think now the caller that just called, clearly the abortion was some form of precipitating factor. She needs proper psychiatric counseling and diagnosis so that they can look at, especially the suicidal, the self-harming, all the issues and the feelings of neglect from the partner and all the relationship stuff that have then impacted her. But I think as a default, people do deserve good comprehensive care.
Ngenxa yesikhathi you have to sibambe kanjalo. If udinga ama numbers esadek la 24 hours makhona umuntu ofuna ukukhuluma nayo ngeke baze bakujudge as well. It's 0800 12 13 14. That's the number abatholakala kuyona. Sabonga kakhulu.
Bye bye.